If Lucifer's getting hit and we're getting to use him, it's because everything else went wrong.
Absolutely.
Wow. Okay. So
It's very important, and we did not realize that for the longest time, and we got burned on it two seasons. We got burned on that, and then we made that change, and we were neck and neck with the top team.
Fastidious.
Fastidious.
how the heck are you, everybody? I'm Fastidious. Welcome to my channel and welcome to a very fun collab we have today. You can see I'm not alone. So why am I not alone? We are talking about Guild Wars, and Guild Wars is something brand new that I do not know that much about. However, this man on the screen right here, Mr. Ray Pinasis from the Dragon Slayers community, he's been playing this game for almost a year and a half, and he's a bit of an expert in this subject. So Ray, you want to introduce yourself and let everyone know who you are?
Yeah, for sure, man. First of all, thanks for having me on the channel. Much appreciated. Giving our Dragon Slayers community some opportunity to get a face out there for the name. Like you said, I've been playing for about a year and a half now. Started in Guild called Winter with a big shout out that I specifically wanted to give out to Moors. If you're ever watching this video, dude, you're the reason I'm still here, and I appreciate everything you did for this game in the beginning. Aside from that, moved on to Dragon Slayers after a little while of playing, and haven't looked back, kind of ran with it. I just do what I do, and I enjoy this game so much, man. It's been part of my life outside of work and family, and so this is what I do.
Absolutely. Yeah, guys, Ray really loves the game just like I do. But on top of that, I pour a ton of time into this, but over the course of not nearly 3 months yet. With Ray, we're talking like 15, 16, 17 months. It's really legit. You guys are probably somewhat familiar now with the Dragon Slayers community. It's something I really like. I had Arcturus on earlier with my epic class by class tier list. We did Defenders. So here's another one of his compatriots here. So we got Ray Pinasis. Ray, without further ado, let's talk about some Guild War. So before I hand the mic over to you, a lot of people have been coming on stream, getting in comments. We knew Guild War was coming. It arrived this morning, and they've been saying, Fastidious, are you going to make Guild War content? And I'm very much of the opinion, I don't want to talk about something that I'm not fully informed about. So the only way I could properly make this video is to have someone who is fully informed. So where should we begin, Ray? What do we want to do? I'm going to click on this button, obviously, right?
Yeah, let's go into Guild War. So first off, I want to just point out the demon soldiers. We'll start right at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Now, a lot of these you guys will get from doing gear raid runs, guild boss drops, meteor, the artifact runs. So chances of getting a legendary are pretty slim. I have pretty well all of them over the course of a couple months. They do come as long as you're doing gear raids. These things will be dropping.
And to be clear, that's a couple months during Forerunner, right? That it took you to build that up?
For sure.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah. This is I believe Guild Wars came out 2 months ago, 2.5 months ago now on Forerunner. So it's been a while, but I do a lot of farming. So fortunate on drops, I guess you could say. But they are there for free to play. Don't think that only spending you'll be the only ones that getting these drop rates.
Absolutely.
So anyway, going into the heroes, so I'm gonna point out probably one that I slept on for the first 2 seasons, and it's the one that you're clicked on right now.
This guy?
Yep, you betcha.
Cool.
So this guy right here. Now I'm gonna point something out, because when you affiliate these demon soldiers with your hero, I've noticed that it doesn't matter who you affiliate it with, you're looking for BP, right? A lot of your healers will be of higher BP when you affiliate. So for me, on my global server, I have my Sadie is on the Knight of Destruction. So that's my only legendary on my global server, on my global account. Now I'm just looking down here at mine. So right now at level 1, he's 150,000 BP for the attack. Okay. Now my Sadie, this is one thing that I did learn about Sadie. Now she is a HB based hero, but that being said, I did a full healing build on my Forerunner server, and her BP is 97,000 with still 36,000 HP. So yes, her HP is really low. Does she have the survivability? Absolutely, she's fully maxed. But when I put her into Guild Wars, it pushes her affiliation over 298,000 BP. And that's because of how high her BP is. So that's something to think about when you're affiliating different demon soldiers to the hero. This is just something that I've come across, that the healers actually produce way more BP when you affiliate.
So to take a step back, as someone who, like, my only experience with affiliation and Guild Wars, because I haven't done anything yet, guys. It just came out today. I've just been picking these guys up by my standards, my free-to-play standards. I've just been farming a lot lately, but I'm talking like 12,000 stamina, right? And that's how I got all these guys. So then I was like, okay, let me put my best heroes on each one of them, and then I'll talk to you and figure out if that was the right thing to do. So it sounds like what you're saying, and please correct me if I'm right in any way, or more importantly, where I'm wrong. This guy looks like a tank to me based on these stats they're giving him. And then it sounds like what you're saying is I affiliated him with Zealatu, who's one of my strongest heroes. So it's just like some kind of multiplicative function, and she's lending her BP onto him. However, you're saying it's easier to stack more BP on someone like Sadie. So that would be a better choice, even though he's a tank, something like that.
Yeah. So I guess long and short of it is that the hero's affiliation doesn't matter if it's an attack based or a tank based or a healing based. It's all based on BP. So I was thinking about this before we started the video, and I guess the best way I can describe this is it's a BP check.
Yeah.
On the defense side.
Gotcha.
So on the defense side, you'll find when you go in and this actually ramps up, it's more or less like a mini tide, so to speak. So your defense side would now be your BP check, and your offense side will be your actual account check.
Okay, so it makes perfect sense. So not to get too ahead of ourselves, because I think we're going to get into all the particulars, but when you're saying defense side, that's like setting your garrison, so then it's going to be some kind of passive setup that then the enemy guild will have to take on? Yeah,
that's correct. Your demon soldiers, you want to affiliate with the highest BPs. So whatever your highest BP is, when you click on it, it'll automatically give you who you should affiliate with.
So I should do Regulus on this guy then, because that's my next highest available.
If he's not affiliated and he's the next in line, 100%.
Gotcha.
So it doesn't matter if it's a healer or a tank or whatever the case may be, it's just a BP check.
So I've got a question here that I think the answer is probably going to be obvious, but I know people ask me about this with gearing and gear raids and auto runs. I'm assuming it's the same here. So right now my arrogance is in, for my account, pretty good gear. He's like getting close to 80k BP, which is pretty good for me. However, I do move gear around a lot. So let's say I took Arrogance's gear and I was doing, where wouldn't I use him? I kind of use him everywhere. He's not a good example. Let's talk about Setram, right? Let's say I took Setram's gear and I'm not going to bring him to Gear Raid 1, so I put it onto my Morrigan or something, right? Then would this also tank my this demon soldier here, the Stitch Carrion?
Yeah. So if the BP is high enough and that's the next in line, that's what you kind of want to go with. It's not necessarily based on what the hero does.
For sure. So what I'm saying is, though, once I've made that affiliation, but then if I though take that gear off that hero, like if I took the gear off my Setram, that would also be hurting. That's something people need to be cognizant of, I'm assuming.
Absolutely.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So the same way before you go into like an auto run to make sure you don't fail before you do your guild boss or setup, or your guild war, excuse me. Yeah, okay, cool. Great. So how do my guys look? I got a couple purples. I've got this one legendary.
So I will be honest with you. So that legendary right there, I actually don't have. He's like the one and only legendary I do not have.
He's a chapter 9 guy. Okay, cool.
But what I do know about a lot of the archer / mage demons, they're kind of squishy. Glass cannons, if you will. So I tend to stay away from them.
Gotcha.
I like the tank to start. So you're second in line there with Zilthu. Yeah, the Fallen Templar. He is amazing. Lots of HP. It's hard to kill. So he's like my setup almost every time, outside of Ma. But we'll get to Ma. Ma is OP and it's not fair.
I will say, I have one fragment of Ma. So maybe if I get really lucky 19 more times, I'll get him.
Yeah, so the thing with Ma, since you touch base on it, I'll just kind of nip it right now, is that if you hit 50k blood in Nightmare 4, I believe it is, you get one version of Ma, and then you start building on his level ups.
Yeah, what I noticed with him is a couple of these guys I've actually gotten from Guild Boss as drops, but from him I just got a single fragment, so I'm only 5% of the way there. Yeah,
that's right. But there's another hero that I see you haven't affiliated with, and it's always my second drop, and that is the Shaman.
This
left
guy?
Second row.
Nice, cool.
So this guy right here is... he's a staple. It doesn't matter if I have Ma, it doesn't matter if I'm using the Templar. He's my next staple. He's always number 2 for me. It took me a while to even get him, and as soon as I got him, I ended up getting 2 more versions of him, so I ended up getting him to level 3 right away, which I was super lucky with. But yeah, he basically comes out second, and he keeps everything alive. So this is kind of like, before we get there, he's kind of like your setup for winning or losing.
Gotcha.
So without this guy, I won't lie to anyone, you're going to have a tough time with a higher level.
Any successful Guild War team is running him.
More often than not.
Cool.
Yeah.
So okay, so I think take a step back question. Just talking about Guild War, basically, it's like your demon soldiers versus their team, and vice versa, right? And then they set up their demon soldiers. So you're basically getting to play the bad guy, the way when we're facing these mobs in campaign, right? So in case that wasn't clear to anyone. So basically we're farming up these demon soldiers. There's several fun ways to get them. I'm hoping, and it does seem like they're good at this, they're probably going to introduce new, interesting ways they can get them from new future content we don't even know that's going to exist. However, I am looking at these, and you're talking about the Shaman and how great he is, but I don't see skills. So how exactly does that all work? So I see some statistics, I see some ratings, I see...
If you click on upgrade.
Yes, okay.
So as you get different fragments of this hero, you'll be able to upgrade, and that will upgrade stats. And then they do get passives at level 5. This is straight across the board, level 5. Some are worth investing in, some are worth, if you get them, I wouldn't invest in too many of the other demons. Honestly, like you're gonna get a bunch of these as you farm. Some are of value, some are just not of value. Mm-hmm. As you get them, obviously you're gonna want to upgrade, but there's only an X amount that I really would say are worth using right now, and that's just right now. And that's not to say that future content these other soldiers won't be used, but for right now, it's almost in line with how Guild Boss is. Like there's a staple couple different
there's a meta
metas that you're going to use, and this follows along the same line. Like gotcha. it just is.
So I got a kind of tangential question. So I mean, if you guys are as into the game as Ray or me, you might recognize a lot of these characters, right? Like definitely the Stitch Carrion. We've seen him in a lot of content in this game. Like he's in Gear Aid 1, he's in some campaign stages. And then I know my one legendary guy, he was introduced in Chapter 9. And then I don't know if he was in the second phase of Void Rift, but that's like his theme. But I know he was in Chapter 9. But if Void Rift has been out for 3 months, like you said, that would be before Chapter 9. Was he not a demon soldier until he came out as an actual enemy from Chapter 9? And is that how they introduced the new soldiers?
So to be fair, I don't even remember because it's been so long ago. Fair enough. I've done so much since then. But I would say that he was there. I don't know if he was attainable. Like even Ma wasn't attainable for like the first 2 or 3 weeks, I believe. And then they all of a sudden just did a 50k drop on Guild Boss, and a bunch of people got him. So, and then it was unfair mode.
To make that perfectly clear to everyone as well, that's like an achievement you get, the way you get like development achievements and things like this, and it just happens to come with a crazy reward, right?
Yeah, that's correct.
Awesome. So is this right now, is this the entire collection of heroes in the whole game? Are these all the demon soldiers in the whole game?
For right now, yeah, that's it.
Cool. Okay, so it looks to me these are also legendaries than Ma. So there's only 5 total legendaries of the demon soldiers.
Yeah, so right now, I tried to go back onto my Forerunners account, but the GVG is under construction, so I don't know what that entails. I haven't read any patch notes or anything like that as of recent, so it's not to say that they're not introducing other things that may or may not change the metas up a little bit, but and I'm not putting any spoilers out there either, so. Amazing.
Okay.
Yeah.
So something else I want to talk about, and then let's let you lead us into, I guess, the next section will just be how the actual combat and how I think people are going to be very curious into how this works with the different phases. However, I did want to say, when you talk about investment, it seems to me the way you invest in these is whatever the game gives you. Is there some other way to invest?
Not at the moment. You're 100% correct. I think my point is that just because you are getting a lot of one thing doesn't mean that you're going to use it.
Okay, so so if you kept getting, I mean, this guy, I don't know if he's good, but like this little skeleton soldier, if he wasn't good, but is he good? I don't know. No, he's not. Okay, so to be honest, I feel like in any of these kinds of games in this genre, a little skeleton guy is just bad. Whether it's Bone Knight and Raid or this guy, so that was a fair bet on my end. But so
I don't think you're wrong. I don't think you're wrong.
Yeah, so if you keep getting this guy over and over, so you keep upgrading him and upgrading and upgrading. Oh, look, I can even upgrade him. Wow, I can actually keep upgrading and upgrading. What a great moment. But you're saying even though he's now my most upgraded hero, like, don't worry about it. There's a pretty clear meta, and we're all going to learn it pretty quickly.
Yeah, and again, like, this is I would still call this beta even on the Forerunner server. Nothing is really solidified. Oh, I guess it is beta. Oh, you're on the Forerunner server. Okay.
No. This is a weird. I'm not on the Forerunner server. This is they chose to call this season on Global Season 1. They're calling it Forerunners Beta. That's what they titled it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a strange choice. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that being said, it is still a beta GVG. So. Again, it is under construction right now on my server, so if they come out with something interesting, maybe we can revisit and make another video on the up and coming. But right now it is what it is right now. But I can foresee some changes needing to be made.
Excellent. Yeah, I mean, it seems like interesting content. I do just the idea of playing as like the random mobs that are nothing in these games, and then you actually have them. It's kind of interesting. Yeah, and it's like you're watching Star Wars, and you're like, what if I was a stormtrooper? Like that kind of thing.
Part of me is waiting for some of the changes, but the other part enjoys GVG only because you get to see other people's teams.
Yes,
you know, like things that you don't normally get to see play. It kind of gives you like a more hands-on feel as far as PvP would go. You get to see what their heroes are actually doing.
And it's the only true PvP we have in the game now, because even Arena is more like a race side by side. This is the only actual head-on-head clash. Okay, so one quick question, and then let's get to the big question that we've been building up to, which is what are these phases? Please explain that. However, I did see training, because when I clicked on this today, there was a little tutorial, and they insisted I go into training. Is this just a way to get some fun little clear rewards and get a little extra carrion guy, or is this something everyone should check out to practice, or...
So I was going to bring this up. This is I actually told my global server today to make sure that they do the training, because it gives you some insight on from easy to hard. Now, it gives you a setup team for most of the stages. The last stage, you set up your own team.
Cool.
So you actually get a feel for what the demon's damage is going to look like, and what the setup of the level is going to do. So how each demon gets released, how much time do you have to kill that demon, the kind of BP check that you're going to need just at the basic level.
Yeah.
Now, stage 6 to me is a little basic level, but for some other people it might be more challenging. I'm not going to say everyone's going to clear it right away the first time, but it'll definitely give you a better insight and kind of teach you how to strategize what you need to do.
I guess that makes sense too. It sounds like actually some really nice hand-holding in that, like they're probably introducing you to different types of heroes, different classes of the soldiers, and then I'm assuming stage 6, what you're saying might be really hard is if you don't have enough BP on your actual real heroes that you affiliate them to, then it's going to be pretty tricky.
Exactly.
Cool. Awesome. So is it worth us hopping in and just doing the first battle now, or should I just encourage that? Should we just encourage everyone else to do that ASAP?
I'll let you take the reins on that, whatever you'd like to do.
I don't want to fail it. That's my. If you give me tips, then we can do it. If you think I'll beat it,
we can do it.
Okay, so you're saying so let's see what happens. Edit teams. All right, so they're saying these. So this is what you're saying. I don't get to use my actual soldiers. They are giving us these preset soldiers. This one epic and these 3 rares. We can look in the corner and we see there are 4 different classes. This is a new class to us. I guess this is like a speed fighter or something. These are like the little dog guys that can be annoying.
So, that is my favorite demon out of all of them.
Really? This guy?
Not even joking. Yes, and it's not because like they are squishy. They don't do very much, but they will make or break the win.
Yeah.
Every time.
They're a nuisance, probably.
Yeah, kinda. I think what you're about to see going into this is probably not what you're foreseeing.
I don't know.
It wasn't exactly what I thought. I thought it would just be like all these heroes come out and you just have to burn them down, like, which is what you have to do. But I guess in my head I had a different play style already, thinking about how this was going to happen to what it actually is.
Okay, so let me give you my impression on what I think is going to happen, then you tell me all the mistakes I'm going to make. So I think I can do only one hero at a time, and then there's going to be some countdown. That's what this clock is in between. So I'm thinking I should do my tank first. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay, and then I'm thinking, I don't know. Then we save the dog guy for last because he's really annoying, and then I just do my two range guys.
So I'm not a big fan of the archers, so I will always go with the mage because they do a lot of damage. So then I would go with the archer, and then the dogs,
and then the dogs.
You'll understand. Yeah, and then you'll understand why the dogs always go last. Now, this is something else I want to point out while we're here. The little numbers up in the top left-hand corner of each icon. So that's, if you look to your right, you have a total energy. So you can only have so many. So I know that it says wave 8. We haven't gotten there yet.
Okay.
So right now, I think my best team, I can max it out like to 99. And that gives me 4 waves at 99 energy. And you have to be careful because as you get, like, legendaries have a higher release number, the epics have a midway release number, and then the blues kind of vary. I think the lowest one I have is 16, but you have to kind of add up and still maintain a high BP team to fight with, right? So it's a little tricky on doing the full setup and using what you got, right? But you do have to keep it under 100 energy.
That's nice though, because then it is a bit of a puzzle. There's some skill involved. It's a balance, right? So I right?
There's definitely a bit of strategy for sure.
Am I right in that this energy is kind of the demon soldier equivalent to cost? If you had like a max cost, that'd be like a quick parallel to draw.
So like, for instance, Ma is 50 or 40 or something like that.
Gotcha.
Right? So if you drop Ma, you've already spent 2 of your heroes.
But if you got Ma, then okay,
you win.
Sweet. So so I should save the settings then, and now do I just start the battle and we see how we do? Is there anything left for me to prepare?
That is it, my buddy.
Okay, let's see. So we're going up against the ultimate starter team, right? Like you get your Pokemon epic marksman. So these guys got Brienne. And then there's that dream team with Camille and Marine and Voltus and Rex. So let's see. So now I just watch my guys. I don't have to click anything. It's passive.
It's literally tied.
Okay.
Like tied 0.5.
There we go.
So you'll see your tank is kind of taken over at the front. Now here's my favorite part. These little carrion hounds.
And then we won.
They just run right.
Yeah. Because Rex only had 3 block. Oh, I love it.
That's it.
So it is. So we get that sweet feeling of that horrible feeling. We get the reciprocal of it from like when we're on those stages and we're controlling everything, and then those little fast guys come out. Now we get to unleash those little fast dogs. I love it. I totally get why you love them.
And to be honest with you, I'm kind of glad that we did this first, because it's going to lead into how you set up your team later on.
Great. So I don't need to do stage 2. I'll do that in my own time. And I think we definitely suggest everyone else go and try this training. It seems like there's some proper goodies in here. And then you're also going to get a Stitch Carrion if you weren't able to pull him like I did as a drop. So yeah, pretty cool.
Absolutely.
Okay, so I mean, we're building up. We've been going, I think we're doing pretty good. We're going about 25 minutes. I think it's time that we really talk about what this is, which is we've got these 3 phases, really 2 phases, and then they're going to give like this. I'm assuming this is like a reward distribution based on where your guild ended up.
Yeah.
So it seems like
that'll be Moon going through all their information on wins, losses.
Sweet. So let me say, I'm gonna give my impression on what I'm seeing here, and then you fill in all the blanks and you bring us home. So it looks to me like there's a prep phase based on having clicked here this morning when I saw it, and I saw Garrisons. I've played Gotch before. I'm assuming we're setting up our defenses. And I'm assuming this is a period where we passively set this all up and get prepared, and then this next week will be an active week where we are paired with different guilds each day or every couple days, and then we have to attack the garrisons they set up.
Yeah, that's correct. So I believe you go cycle through, I believe, 3 different guilds each battle phase. So preparation phase, if you want to go into March to Battle and just pick on anyone in your guild there.
So this one's full, I guess, of my teammates, my guildmates.
Sure. So first I want you to click on the larger garrison there. Okay, now click on one of your outside garrisons.
Okay.
And there's a reason I'm asking this. So you can see here, Team 2, 264,000 BP, all DPS. Yeah. I can guarantee you that team will get wasted right away. And so what I would like to explain is it's not a DPS race as much as it is a holdback race. So you can either time out to win by not letting anything get through your heroes, or you can kill the demons, obviously, and win. So that being said, can you go into yours? And this will make it easier just to
I haven't set one yet, so we could do it together.
Perfect.
So we can click on this garrison. Set up 2 garrison teams first. Okay, so
we'll go to deploy.
Okay.
And deploy.
So you're saying I need a nice diverse team?
Yeah, so here's I'll give everyone a little tidbit on how to win these things. Through trial and error and battling it out with another shout out to Phoenix Guild from Russia. They are unbelievable at this stuff. But what we want to do is we want to set up blockage. So you don't want to have too many ranged attack. You need to cover squares. So your best bet is like 2 tanks. This is what I suggest: 2 tanks or a tank with, let's say, Regulus, and then if you were to throw Abomination in there.
Nice.
Somebody that can go behind the tank. So depending on your artifact, I forget which artifact it is.
The Soul Drainer?
Is it Goddess Roots? Soul Drainer. Yeah, it gives you an extra block. So that is amazing for Guild War. As you could see, those 3 Carrion Hounds just ran straight through the team because there was nobody blocking. Yeah. That's what'll make and break this whole win-loss situation.
Gotcha.
So if you were to have a tank up front, obviously they take 3 or 4 depending on the tank that you have. Torador isn't it?
Or if you got this bad.
Torador isn't it. Yeah, Oleg's Wall is really good. But those 2 right there, they will cover 8 demons. So you can pretty well leave those 2 in the middle and then surround them with 1 healer, preferably an Eloin or Vortex is suggested, but whatever you got to work with, Vortex would be great. And then you want
Eloin on this account.
Yeah, no, it's all good, man. Medan will work fine too. But then you want 2 range. So you want to have something physical and something magic.
Gotcha.
So
something like this maybe.
Cetrum works, Brienne works.
Yeah.
Or
so
even
just to quickly take a step back, when I was talking about do we need to be cognizant of our gear, guys, you know I like to push really high content above my means, and the way I do that is by moving my best gear around. So that's why you're seeing all these low numbers. Very few of these guys, except for what you're seeing at the top, this is like the arena team I was running with Brienne and where Brienne and Tauriel and stuff like that for anti-air. That's why all these other guys, Morgan's down here at 38k, she's not really wearing gear right now. So if you're like me, this is when we have Guild Wars action in action, we're really gonna have to be cognizant of that stuff.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess sometimes I lose track of it because I'm so used to just having mostly everything. But this would be a good meta for GVG, especially if you're not going against the top guilds. This would work.
Sweet. So should I deploy it?
Yeah, you can deploy it, and we'll show you how it'd be.
And then is our lords less essential in GVG? Would you say?
So a lord it works the exact same as every other piece of content in this game. Preferably you want a lord in that spot, but if you don't have the support to go with it, I'd say you're better off just because you can time out some of this stuff and still win. You're better off just having those squares blocked, those demons blocked, and heal through it.
I think that's a nice parallel to draw, and tell me if you think I'm on the right track here. It's kind of like when you're earlier on, like if you're like Ray guys, and you're killing it and you've been playing and you have all this materials you need, then you can really get into like, let me build out my team, let me do this, kind of akin to with gear where you're like, all right, now I have good gear, now I'll build sets. But at the beginning, if you're like me right now, what we're looking at, it'd be great to build like a great watcher team. Like I'm assuming if I had Leia, that'd probably be better than Vortex, than my Brienne, than my Regulus, right? But for now, it's just go for that right mix. Like the way you go for the mix of stats with gear, go for that right mix of classes and heroes and strategy before you just go, oh, let's put Wrath in here, and then let's put Volca in here, and then next thing you know, you're using all fighters because you went for a Nightmare team or something.
That's right.
Yeah, cool. Okay, excellent.
So you want to deploy?
Oh, and I get to place them.
So now you get to place all your heroes. So one mistake that I've already seen that has been corrected on our server, our guild, for global, you kind of want to bunch everyone around. You want to keep that damage concentrated. So if you were to put Regulus,
something like
right
this,
there,
maybe.
You got her, man. And then, I don't even need to say no more.
Like this, I was thinking.
Or I would actually
probably
move Brienne right there and face her to the front so she covers everything, right?
Okay, cool.
Because everything's gonna funnel straight to the middle.
And these, so do I have to worry about her not being in range, or?
No, because she should be in range.
No, in range of Vortex, I was saying.
Oh no, she won't even get hit.
Okay, cool, good to know. And that's probably something you learn as like what the maps are like and the heroes people, the soldiers people send at you. Cool. Okay, so there's our first team done. Awesome. So Ray, is there like a specific way you want to spread out you and your guildmates' best comps among these garrisons, and then within these garrisons with the different fortresses and stuff?
So if you click on one of the outside garrisons here, so that main garrison there, you have to kill, I think it's 3 of the small ones in order to even attack the middle one. So the idea behind that is you want to keep your lowest BP to the inside. You want to have all your highest BP, your best teams to the outside. And likewise to the main garrison, if you go back one page, if you look at that main garrison there, your lowest BP should be in that main garrison.
So we messed up. So just to zoom out really quickly, the best member of our guild is Lucifer. So he's in like the least optimal position for himself because he's in the.
He'll never get hit unless everything else.
If Lucifer's getting hit and we're getting to use him, it's because everything else went wrong.
Absolutely.
Wow. Okay. So
it's very important, and we did not realize that for the longest time, and we got burned on it 2 seasons. We got burned on that, and then we made that change, and we were neck and neck with the top team.
Okay, so let me give a really dumbed down recap, and you sign off if this is correct. We have 4 garrisons here. You cannot touch the main garrison, which is how you win until you've defeated all 4 garrisons. Correct? and you cannot defeat a garrison until you've defeated 3 of the mini side towers before you reach the big fortress. So it actually feels counterintuitive, but thank you so much for sharing, because people need to know that, because I mean we might lose this week then. I mean, I'm hoping, who knows, we're a pretty good guild, but like Lucifer is our best account and now he's like in the least successful place. So like I said, like if people reach Lucifer, then it's like everything else already went wrong.
So that's kind of what happened with our guild on the Forerunner server. I kept taking the main garrison, but I never got touched, and I had, you know, like my one team is 500 and I want to say 510 or 508 BP, but never got touched, not one time. I mean, so I had 0 wins, 0 defeats, just never got hit, right? Okay. So I just last week we made some changes as far as that stuff goes, and I got hit. I think I got beat up twice on my lower team, and the other team just it makes sense though if you think about it. It is a guild war, not an individual battle. So you have to defeat everything in order to hit that main garrison, and then you're still fighting the top teams around that main garrison before you can hit the
There's no Pyrrhic victories in this guild war.
No
little battles.
No. And you can only muscle your way so far. You get 8 battles a day, and you're only going to go so far with them, right? So for those of you that think I have Ma, I'm going to win, here's another little oof that I learned the hard way is I took my Ma out thinking it was unlimited. You actually only get 3 hits per team. So you can only use them 3 times before you can't use them anymore. So and then you have to revamp your team up, right?
You can't blow your Ma load too early. You got to really be diligent.
You want to make sure you're going after the highest BP team or a main garrison with Ma.
Sweet. Yeah. Okay, those are huge tips. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay, so big picture now. I'll do my second team after we do this, but with this preparation, these 6 days, right? So the 23rd, which is today, until the 29th, which I suppose will be on Sunday or Saturday or Sunday. So the way it will work is, do we have to set up every day, or we have those 6 days to think of our best setup?
You have 6 days to think about and solidify. On the 6th day, that when it's done at midnight or whatever your time zone is, it'll be locked into place. That being said, you can still go in and change, but it won't change until the next guild.
Got it.
So your first 2 days of fighting, it'll be locked in. You can already have made that change based on what you're seeing on that first fight, but it won't change until the next guild comes up.
Oh, that brings up a good question, I think. So when you're saying what you're seeing on that same fight, can you go in and watch how the battle went down? Is that they save it for you?
Yep, absolutely. Cool. So if you've won or lost, the one thing that it's kind of working backwards on the Forerunner server, like it's not really clear on what's happening. So it'll say victory, but then you actually lost. I don't know why it does that, but maybe something Moonton, maybe that's what they're fixing. I don't know. But it's definitely something that it bothers me every time I go in to see the results or how it went. You try to see defeat or victory and see what changes could be made, or how somebody else's meta is set up. Why did I lose?
Yeah.
You can go back and watch that, which helps you prepare for the next one, right?
I'll tell you what bothers me about hearing that. I love that. That's a great feature, but it shows that they have the capability to have this go back and watch what happened. So like, why don't we have that in Arena?
That's right.
Yeah. Like, why don't they need to add that in Arena? Okay, sweet. So just to shout this out, because I do think there might be like crazy, low spender, free to play players like me that are min-maxing. It sounds like these 6 weeks, just set up the best team that you think, relax, don't worry about your gear. When battle phase hits, at least for those first 2 days, you got to be on top of it, making sure you know exactly where your gear is, and then you'll then you'll probably fall into the rhythm and know what to do. So the next big question, and maybe the final question I have, and besides maybe the last question will be anything else you want to share, because you really know your stuff on this, right? But with this battle phase, what I'm seeing here is prep, battle, calculation. Is that how it cycles? So there's every 3 weeks there's a battle phase essentially?
That's right. Yeah,
nice, pretty cool.
Absolutely. To me, the ranking calculation phase, it always seems like it takes a little longer than what it's supposed to. I don't know why. Maybe I'm just because I'm trying to juggle around two main accounts, if you want to call it. But it always seems like it takes a little longer. And then I'm not a huge fan of Guild War. I'm just gonna throw that out there now. I know we haven't gotten there yet. I do like it, but there's a couple things that I find are kind of janky with it. It's when you guys get into the battle phase, you'll see that it's almost like if, for me, for instance, I'm just going to use myself as an example. On my Forerunner server, obviously, there's a couple of us that have really extremely built accounts. And then we're going up against people that have not extremely built accounts. And it's almost like the first season will tell you where you stand, but the pairing, I guess, is what I'm going to get at, is the pairing of the two guilds doesn't reflect. You know what I mean? Like on our Forerunner server, I think we're 158 million BP as a guild, which is
outrageous.
Huge. Yeah, and there's a Russian guild that's 166, and we're 1 and 2. But we'll go up against a guild that's only like 110. Yeah. And then when I scroll through their teams, like I don't even have to use Maw sometimes because I just float through it. It's the BP is just there, right? So I guess before we get to the end, that's my only negative that I have. With
for sure. I mean, that's definitely something I wanted to ask. I think the final proper question I had for you, just because obviously we were chatting before we started filming, and you mentioned that you think it's something that some people will like, but it will always be kind of, you see it as being something niche. Can you elaborate that on that a bit, Ray?
It's niche right now. I think if you're not a big fan of Tide, which I'm not, I've actually stopped doing Tide altogether because it's just, I don't get any fulfillment out of it. There's the amount of times I've been asked about peak talents over the last year, I'll tell you, I've spoken with, I'm gonna do this, I'm just gonna do this. I've spoken with the devs. There is supposed to be a revamp on Tide. It hasn't happened yet. From what I got told, there will be no peak talent. So I hope that answers everyone's
They don't exist.
Question. They do not exist.
I was just I'm almost maxing out my talents, and I was excited to find out what peak talents were.
You will never find out.
Alas.
As of right now, anyway. Unless they got something in the woodworks that they didn't tell me about. But no, I got told that it was being revamped and peak talents were coming out. That's the last I got told.
I think I will fall somewhere between the person that's super excited about it and you. I hate Tide. It's my least favorite con of the game. I've said it many times on my channel. You guys are probably very familiar with that. I consistently encourage people to just get to that next big threshold and then just hang out there for a couple weeks so you don't have to think about it. Just claim your loot, because I think it's mindless, and getting a few extra tokens or a few extra pieces of dust for an extra week or two. Yeah. It's just not worth the headache of moving your gear around and staring at it's the most passive. We don't want to play idle games. We want to play gacha games. But what I do like is the collection. Just I've been clicking through here while you're talking, just so people have something to look at. I do like to know, I want to get this guy. This guy kicked my butt the first time I faced him in Phase 2 Hard Void Rift. It was great to beat him, but I would love to have him on my team now. So I think that's kind of cool, and I'm hoping, because they do seem like they're getting better and better, adding more content. Something else we were talking about, maybe they're even doing it too fast. But that means maybe more demon soldiers and more unique heroes, because I do think these guys are pretty cool.
I think it would be cool if they did come out with some different demon soldiers. I feel like even after a couple weeks, it hasn't advanced. So I'm really hoping that maybe tomorrow when I log on to my Forerunner server, it's something has changed for the better. But you kind of get to the point, like you just said, with Tide, it becomes monotonous and redundant to do. Outside of free farming for skill dust, and that's really the only reason I log in. I just hit claim every day, and Bye.
Yeah, I mean,
No more
even
time for-
I'm only at tied 116 or 117. I certainly could push a few waves higher, but it would literally only be a few. So I just think I'll do it in a few weeks when I can maybe push 5 or 10 at a time, and I'm just not interested in moving my gear around and moving it back and dealing with that whole headache.
Yeah.
Because I think the net dust lost is going to be still like 100 or something. It's like nothing. So
yeah, that's right.
Sweet. I think this was about as thorough as we could have been, man, and I really appreciate you joining. Any final thoughts on Guild War or just the game in general, or anything you want to share about yourself or the amazing Dragon Slayers?
Well, in the next couple months, we'll be revamping our website, so keep an eye out for that. We got a couple cool things going to be happening here, so I just wanted to throw that out. Honestly, just enjoy the game, guys. Everyone's going to be at different levels. I've said this in all my videos. I know you don't see me saying it, but you can hear me say it. Everyone sits at a different level in this game. Don't try and be the best. There's always going to be somebody better. Keep the monetizing to a minimum. Yes. Trust me.
Yeah.
I'm so hypocritical saying that, but trust me, it's
I think I really agree, and like we're pretty opposite ends of the spectrum. I mean, like I'm free to play, I get some content creator awards, so I have a little more juice in my account than the average free to play player, but I'm still like I'm scrounging for every little summon or every little opportunity, right? But I look at your account and I'm not thinking it sucks that I don't have that account. I hope a lot of people think this way. I'm like, cool. So if I keep grinding, eventually I might have an account that even looks a little like that. That's fun. And I think if you don't have that mentality, then you lose the fun of the game. Because if you rush to the end, then you're just at the end. You got to do it, I think, the way you did it, Ray, where it's like, it took you a while to get on top of this hill, you know? Like you've been at, what did you say, over 400 days or something like that?
Yeah, I think I started playing not the summer that just passed, but just after the summer last year. I quit Raid. I used to play Raid, and I just stopped cold turkey, shut my account down. And I was very similar in Raid. I had a really jacked up account at the time, but I just I stopped. I lose the fun in it. And then I picked up this, and it was something totally different.
It's fresh.
Something new, something that was up and coming and fresh. Exactly. Yeah. So
absolutely.
I love this game. I love it.
Well, thanks so much for coming. I think we might have to, at some point, if you're down, we might have to feature your actual account so people can see the craziness that we're describing.
Yeah, for sure, man. Anytime, you let me know.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for watching, everyone. Thank you so much to Ray Pinasis. Thank you so much to the fantastic Dragon Slayers. There's a lot more coming between me and the Dragon Slayers in the future, so stay tuned for that. I've been Fastidious. Give the video a like if you want to like it. Leave us a comment. Let us know if you have any more questions. I'm sure Ray will come in there and help out and give his expertise there as well. Share it with your mother. I'll see you in the next one.
Thanks.
Fastidious.